It's Christiana-Simon page. I'm about to talk about my favorite cities in America that I've lived in, except for the last one, but it's still one of my favorites, so watch to the end to figure out what I'm talking about. I'm gonna start with Indianapolis. I have spent a lot of my time in life living in Indianapolis, unfortunately, but the reason that it's on my list of favorite cities is because people don't talk about how great of a city Indianapolis is. Because when you live here, you're just kind of used to it. I think anybody would say that about the town they live in, is they don't recognize how great it is unless you're a place like St. Louis, which is also one of my favorites, that have a lot of hometown pride. You don't really think too highly of your city. But Indianapolis is cool. If you're listening to this and you live here and you're rolling your eyes, let me tell you, we are ranked number 3 in arts and culture in the country last time I checked. And it's so great, guys. You don't understand. We have the Cultural Arts Trail. We actually have the best children's museum in the world, apparently. And just somebody please fact check me, because I'm about to say so much stuff. This is just a disclaimer that none of this is actual fact. This is just like my perception on everything. But we have great art museums. Indianapolis has like a wide range of food and just really unique places. We have great state parks. Just like Indiana is pretty cool. So if you're like, oh my god, why does she have Indianapolis on her list? It's because there's a lot here. There's so much art and culture, and you should come here. There's just so much amazing stuff to explore, and you would never think of it. So like prices are like really decent everywhere. I love Indy. I can't even lie. I love Indianapolis, and I always try to get my friends from out of state to come visit because it's cool. It's cool, okay? But I would say, and this is just because I have missed it so much today, is St. Louis, Missouri. I love St. Louis with my whole heart. There are so many reasons to love St. Louis, but honestly, the number one reason is the kind of people that live in St. Louis. I am talking about just like the diversity of people, like all walks of life, all different incomes, like all different histories. The weirdest thing about St. Louis is that people in St. Louis like St. Louis. Like, you guys like living there, and you have so much hometown pride, and it's just like a really beautiful thing. And there's also this like underlying strength and fierceness of people from St. Louis. It's really cool. It's kind of unmatched. Of all the places that I've been, St. Louis has such vigor, has such life, such creativity. The photography scene in St. Louis is phenomenal. If you are a fan of me as a model, which my Instagram is at Christiana Page, the majority of my photos have been taken in collaboration with St. Louis creatives. And I just cannot say enough good things. There's just so many different things within St. Louis. I mean, the tourist destinations there are iconic. Obviously the Arch, but Forest Park, there's the zoo there, which is I think it's the #1 free zoo in America, and the art museum, Forest Park, and the zoo are all right there together. And it is, the festivals they have, the food of, I just can't, half of this video is gonna be me oh my god, I love it so much. But I really do think St. Louis is mega underrated. If you're going there just to see the tourist destination, St. Louis is probably, of this list especially, the first one I'm going to say go to and do all of the things that websites tell you to. St. Louis, I would say there's not a whole lot of hidden gems. I mean, St. Louis is as all the grandeur that St. Louis is, that's kind of what you get. And it's great. It's high quality everything. But the thing I love most about St. Louis is just the people there are freaking awesome. Just awesome. You know, sometimes really mean, but that's okay. For me, I straight up honest, real people, and St. Louis delivers. I actually think just in general, the whole state of Missouri kind of has this authenticity that kind of runs in its veins. And that's why my next city is Kansas City, Missouri. Oh, Kansas City. I kind of grew up in Kansas City, and that's because I attended like a church mission space called the International House of Prayer in Kansas City, and it's in a suburb called Grandview, like right outside of KC. And I have so many of like my firsts in life there that, you know, I was like just thinking today about all of the different, like, oh, after school on Fridays I'd go to football games, and like I didn't really super have that, but like in high school and here I don't have those memories. But I started thinking about the different places that I've lived and where I have those like basic core memories. And I like went to Sonic all the time after like the FCF like church services. Like we would all walk over to the Sonic, and like I just remember drama there, and it's just kind of funny. But Kansas City is beautiful. I say this like you probably don't know this unless you're an artist, but downtown Kansas City has the most beautiful color palette. It's so weird, but it's just gorgeous. There's these like light blues and these like really beautiful rich like saturation yellows and oranges that just kind of like permeate the city, and it's all just kind of soft. Like every photo that I have there or that I've modeled in or see other photographers, it's just like beautiful. Like Kansas City has just such beautiful colors. So I love Kansas City also for like coffee culture. At one point, I hope this is still true, Kansas City had the best coffee scene in the US, and it's truly phenomenal. I pretend like I know things about coffee, but I really don't. But if I want to, Kansas City's where I go. I text people in KC for referrals for coffee shops in other towns, and because they just know. They're just like so wise. I love KC. Next batch is Tennessee. So what's kind of funny about these sets is of my favorite cities is that I've got to live in, of these besides Indianapolis, I've got to live in more than one city in these states. So it's kind of interesting that I just kind of like put that together. But I really you get to explore the depths and compare, and that probably might go into why I like these. But in Tennessee, I love Memphis and I love Nashville for kind of the same reasons, which is the music, the diversity, and the depth of culture. And Nashville goes without saying, they're some of the most phenomenally trained musicians, recording studios, origin of country music, but the level and standard of music production in Nashville is kind of just like unmatched in my opinion. If somebody says, oh, I'm a Nashville musician, I'm automatically going to put them at the top of my list. People from Nashville are just so gifted and just really intentional about everything they do. If somebody says they're from Nashville, like I just trust people from Nashville. I don't know. But also just the fashion in Nashville is just really specific. It's also very consistent, like just the country and the home kind of vibes that Nashville has is like this weird balance of urban and like suburbia. And I would say that, Missouri kind of has that too. Missouri and Nashville both have the, like, you might be in a downtown mecca, but then like just a few minutes away, like you can kind of have that like suburban, like hometown feel. But then when you're in Tennessee, like you're in the South, like you're getting that comfort food, you're getting barbecue. And leads me to Memphis. Oh, sweet Memphis. I've said it before. It's my favorite place I've lived. There is the amount of diversity. I care so much about Black culture, and a lot of that care and love for it came from just my formative years, just being around it and being on Beale Street and listening to jazz. It was the mid 2000s when I lived in Memphis, and believe it or not, like they let kids be in bars and stuff. So I like remember being like 11 or 12 and having Shirley Temples with my friends at bars with their parents. Like I just and I went back recently to Memphis, and it still holds that same like beauty for me. I can't. I know that there are negative things to all of these cities, but this is just like my personal experience with them. I love Memphis. I love Nashville. Food, culture, music. They're only about 2 hours apart from one another, so it's really easy to do. I just did a weekend trip. It's so easy to do both places and see the strip and Nashville is crazy. I'm gonna go on record here saying that the Strip in Nashville is better than the Strip in Vegas. Might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't care. I love it. All right, last is Florida. Now, I have lived in Florida twice, and Florida's Florida. However, Miami and Fort Lauderdale are dope. They are so just cool. Just like cool cities. I love Hispanic culture, and so being there, I love that I could hear Spanish and English at all times. I could count on that. People would come up to me and start speaking to me in Spanish, and I love that. Like that richness of that culture, which is in and of itself, Hispanic culture is so diverse. So I loved that about Miami and Fort Lauderdale. I lived right in between them. The town that I lived in was Pembroke Pines, if anyone's interested, but I lived right in between them. So I, got to go to South Beach and see all of the like iconic landmarks there, and the shopping in Miami. Oh, it's incredible. As somebody who loves fashion, the shopping in Miami is amazing. But Fort Lauderdale, I found, has a lot of vibes that are like if I was from Fort Lauderdale, I would have favorites on every corner, and I would kind of venture into the city, and I had like a favorite coffee shop there and a couple restaurants that I just loved exploring Fort Lauderdale. It's just such an interesting town. I liked the beaches in Fort Lauderdale better than I liked the beaches in Miami. They were just less crowded and cleaner, and I love them. Obviously, I love Orlando because welcome to my channel. She hasn't creeped out yet, but I love Disney World and Disneyland and all things Disney with everything that I am. So yes, Orlando is making my list, but only like the 10-mile radius that is the theme parks. When I lived there for a year, I genuinely don't think that I left like the couple miles that Disney World has more than a few times, because I just didn't need to. It had just everything I could ever want, and so I love Orlando. I miss it a lot. I miss the people. I just miss Disney World. And like within that, I could sit here and talk about, I love like Adventureland and Magic Kingdom, or I like Morocco in Epcot. Like I just feel like I could make so many comments about the different cities in Orlando. I'm just talking about Disney World. So yeah, that's my look for the cities in Florida. All great. Florida is something else, but I think that's why I liked it so much, is that it's just something else, and it's just so fun to observe. Florida has the best people watching. People there are, you already know. Last up, my favorite city is Los Angeles, California. Now, I'm not being basic. I genuinely have such a heart and a passion for LA. It has been my dream move and where I want to be more than anything. And I am so happy to announce that I am officially moving to Los Angeles post coronavirus, pre super cold weather in the Midwest. So within the next 6 months, I will 100% be living in the Southern California area. And this is for a lot of reasons. My dad lived there. He coached at UCLA for a few years. So I'm counting this halfway because I kind of lived there part-time, but also because I'm moving there. And my previous video was about living somewhere and moving to places versus traveling. And traveling to LA always felt like home. I haven't done a lot of the tourist attractions in LA. I remember one of the last times that I went, my dad bought me a bus ticket that takes you the Star Tours, I guess, that take you down Rodeo Drive, because I hadn't seen it. I go to California and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm here now, and I basically camp in one place. And I'm so excited to finally be in California. Those of you that know me know that this has been a dream. Oh, I'm not gonna cry. A dream of my heart for so long, and I'm so excited to finally go. It's my promised land. It sounds so cheesy, but I just love the hills, and I'm so inspired by just the landscape itself. and my favorite is Sepulveda Boulevard. I love driving up and down Sepulveda. I will spend 3 hours on the road going up and down Sepulveda rather than like camping on the 10. Like personally, I'm sure that'll change once I'm there and stuck in it all the time, but I love LA, and it is my last stop. I'm sure I'll move more and have different homes and go back and forth places, but I cannot wait to just call Southern California home. So thanks for watching. If you made it to the end of this, gold stars, confetti, thank you. I love these cities. I care so much about them. If you want more videos like this and like actual travel advice and like breakdowns of my favorites for these cities, I can absolutely do that. I'm also looking forward to eventually introducing you to some of my favorite people from these cities. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share this video with one another. You guys that live there, just like, if I'm wrong, please tell me. I just like, tell me how you feel about if these are your favorites, if we have any in common. I just would love to gush about how much I love these cities. So thanks.